Hello everyone, welcome to General Orlando Plays Final Fantasy XIII. We are on episode 19. So last time we basically made a bunch of progress through chapter 9. We're still only about halfway through the chapter. So we're going to just keep pushing forward. Like I mentioned last time, I want to get through this chapter and the next chapter as quickly as possible so that I can get to recording chapter 11, because chapter 11 is where we start doing a lot of side quests, and I want to try to get those done. I'm right now I'm recording about 3 months ahead. September, October, November. Yeah, I'm about 3 months ahead right now, so that'll give me enough of a buffer to do the side quests so that I don't have to put them as main storyline stuff, and then hopefully I'll be able to stay on track for stay on track for the storyline itself. Sorry, I was lost in thought there for a second. Let's see. So we have some CP to spend on Saz and Vanille, because that's who our current party is. If I can remember what it is that we're after, that would be helpful. Let's see, we got Ravager. Probably means that we're not doing anything real important right now. Let's see. Scourge and Jeopardize in a commando role that he's not going to use very much. Or there's Boon and Fire. I'm gonna go for Boon just because it gives me that extra length of time for the buffs that he does, although I'm not gonna use him much anyway, but he's kind of like Snow. He's going to get relegated to the backbench the majority of the rest of the game after the party finally joins up all together. And we're going for Laterra here. Yes. Oh yeah, Blizzara. Alright, is my gear all set? Probably not. I probably just leave it for this because it's probably not worth doing. Cool. Alright, where am I? Because I think I'm in the wrong place. Okay, well maybe not.
What to do?
Here's what I want. Alright, so let's see. So there's a little trick here. If you hit this battle and you didn't get a preemptive strike, you can just retry, and usually it'll put you right in the right spot to get a preemptive strike. See? Right there. No problem at all. Convenient way to take the Flanader out of the equation as quickly as possible. Especially if you switch to Slash and Burn, you can actually, Alright. Then the other one should still be staggered. Yep. There we go. And now we can just focus on one thing and kill it good. Still doing permanent damage. I really prefer that you. There it is. Okay. She started casting poison, and I didn't realize she'd cast Imperil already. I was like, I'd really prefer you cast Imperil rather than poison, because Imperil will kill things more quickly. Poison just, is mostly used for prolonged battles. Alright, then... we're going to do basically the same thing here. Although this time I don't know if it's so easy to get the preemptive strike. So we're going to just do this, since we can get one easily anyway. They're both staggered. We can finish this quickly. Yeah. Shouldn't be a huge problem. We're not going to quite do it before the stagger ends, but it's not going to take that much more. Not much sense in switching paradigms back. Well, it might actually be faster. We're going to have to fight that Thermodon on the way out, but there's no point in doing it now when we need to go to the center of the platform to try to get the chest. Oh no, backwards. Sorry. There's nothing to get up here, so there's no point in Saz and Daniil alone trying to take on a Thermodon and 3 Vespids. So we are just going to turn around and take out this Thermodon here. And again, there's really no point in starting an Undermine if you're not going to get a preemptive strike on one of these Armadillons, because they're not going to take the debuffs until after their carapace comes off anyway for the majority of the time. You might get lucky, but it's not going to be enough to make a difference. So, I don't know if you've caught that I do this, but when I'm going to do a paradigm shift, I wait until the person is doing their last attack. And if you start it, like, if you trigger the shift as they're doing their animation starts, then it will complete their animation and have whatever effect it was supposed to have while it's going through the paradigm shift. So, that's a little pro tip there that I don't think a lot of people know about necessarily. And usually the reason I wait until the last animation is because it's the easiest one to tell. It gives me a good sense of rhythm as to how quickly the character is moving, as well as allowing me to it has the longer animations usually. For Saz, it's that, pulling out the rifle thing, so that has a long animation by itself. For Lightning, she usually does that jump backwards at the end. It's not quite as easy if they're in Ravager mode, because usually they're just like waving their hands or something. But it still is. Especially when you're working on commandos, they usually have a slightly longer animation for their last move, and it allows you to use that little trick, especially the first time you change paradigms, because that's the one that's the extra long, where it has to show you that cool like visual effect of, hey, they're changing paradigms, as if I didn't know what they were doing because I told them to. There we go.
Well, isn't this great?
Okay, so this battle, you would think you would want to go back to Undermine to try to take out the Vespid as quickly as possible, but there's a little mechanic issue that causes Vanille not to bother with attacking the Vespid soldier when she's in Saboteur, because the greater threat is the Thermodon and nothing will stick on it. So even if Saz is targeting the Vespid soldier, she won't attack it with any of her debuffs. She won't attack it with any of her debuffs because you're never going to get the ones on the Thermodon to stick before it goes down. So you're better off just sticking with the Slash and Burn paradigm that you already had set up for the previous battle, and then just taking out the Vespid soldier first anyway. Should heal, but aha. Alright, here's Undermine. Vanille, you can cast more than one spell, thanks. Poison to stick. Although this is the optimal kind of target to use poison on because it's one that's going to go longer than a single stagger round, but once you got it this far, it really doesn't matter at that point anyway. So, switch to One Piece. And you'll heal us. Why it attacked me instead of restoring its carapace there, I'm not sure, because it didn't start its attack until after,
You can do it.
Wow, I don't think I've ever stood this close to one before. Anyway.
Follow the old man's lead.
This is probably a bad idea, because I think the stability of the chain gauge is going to die before we stagger it, but whatever. Push the Slash and Burn anyway. But I can use that little 2-round trick with the paradigm shifts. And in the next round, she'll stagger it. There we go. And then it'll be over in a second. There we go.
Wind, it's dying down.
Yeah, it's stopping. And we're decelerating. They up to something?
I don't suppose it could just be, I don't know, good luck?
That looks a lot more like bad luck.
You got a point.
Not to me. That we can do something about.
Alright, so let's get some more CP out of the way. Get blindside here. Is I actually going after something else here, or... Oh yeah, raise. Let's get that too. There we go. New is useful, but not strictly necessary. Although having it for the boss battle might be useful. It doesn't matter, I'm gonna finish off this tier before I get to that battle anyway, so. Go for Scourge first. Hope his medic roll level. Go. The roll level is going to be better than getting. Only because if I get his roll level here, it further extends the duration of buffs that he casts. And again, it doesn't really matter because we're gonna the first set of boss battles in this area is a piece of cake with the right equipment, and the second set is and the second set I'll have everything done by then. So I wanted to keep going there. No, I really didn't. Yeah, it's fine. Ravage. Then we're gonna go back and get Scourge. And I just don't care. Alright.
Let's turn the tables.
Probably do this with Relentless Assault. Or Smart Bomb would be even better. Really? I got a preemptive strike on that when it was staring right at me? I will take it. Now, I wish I had set it up in Relentless Assault. Oh well. Still. It's not even worth switching. Kill him fast enough. Especially with the free staggers. Why is she not casting anything else? Are they immune to curse? I don't usually have that situation, so I don't really know what they're immune to. Alright, now this one we definitely want our buffs and debuffs, so let's do that. Yes, turn around so I can... who saw me? You're facing the complete opposite direction! Fine. Are they immune to curse? Yep, that's why she wasn't casting it. That would do it. Fine.
Thanks.
You keep me off balance. Thank you.
There we go. Reopen cast protect. There we go. Then we can finish this. Ah, it doesn't have slow on it anymore. Really?
Change of plan.
Can't wait until Fang and Vineo get Jinx. Make things so much easier.
Time for another approach.
Okay, if it doesn't have first, it's gonna be in the end. I thought that was going to have to go to a second stagger. That works. Alright, we're about to pick up the first accessory that goes with Lightning's Axis Blade, the Whistling Scarf. Alright. We are going to equip it. Probably in place of the Magician's Mark. Yeah. And what this does is the ATB rate plus 10% is a synthesis ability that comes from having that and the Axis Blade equipped. So that one automatically just charges the ATB gauge 10% faster, which by itself is pretty awesome. And then the ATB advantage is what the Whistling Scarf actually does, and that one just charges your ATB gauge a little bit each time you attack an enemy. And put that on top of the Axis Blade's ATB charge, and it does so anytime you attack. I'm sorry, ATB advantage. I read that backwards. ATB charge is the one that is on the Axis Blade already. ATB advantage sets it up so that you have one full piece of your ATB gauge charged before the battle starts. So basically, she starts out with one of her 4 segments, and then it charges 10% faster, plus it charges every time she attacks. So, yeah. And it gets better from there. The other 2 pieces that we put with it, well, actually, the only other piece that we really have to have is the sprint shoes. We won't get those until Chapter 11. Still debating how I want to do the side quests for this game, because they are strictly optional. Obviously, hence why it's called side quests, except for one series of them that is required for a plot line. I don't know why I'm doing this in this paradigm. We could do this a lot faster the other way. But I'm thinking I may do the actual hunts on camera, or missions, I guess is what they call them in this game. They were hunts in 12, but I may do those all as part of the storyline stuff, just because it takes a substantial part of the game. I just won't show all the grinding that I do setting up for those hunts. And I may not show getting from one point to the other, because some of them cross the map, and it's just silly to show some of that. So I haven't decided yet. Like I say, we're still about a chapter and a half away, so although rapidly approaching. But we have some major story stuff between then now and then. In fact, we finally get introduced to our real villain in this chapter. So far, we've just been fighting this nameless, well, not nameless, but faceless sanctum, and whatever. But we actually get a face and a name to put with it, and hopefully we will get to just before that cutscene in this episode is what I'm hoping to, because there's a grinding spot right before that I hope to do off camera. Without having to edit the length of my videos too much. So we need to go this way and then take this one over here to fight these for that chest. Let me think about what I need here. Okay, we're just going to switch the places on these 2 because it makes it a little bit easier to move around. And then going to change this to this one. Alright. Because this is another rare part of the game where having a sentinel is actually I mean, I guess this is still technically the same part because I put it in for this chapter, but it is definitely very important to have in this part of the game because you just don't have the resources to deal with them any other way. We don't need it for this particular battle, but
Change of plan.
better switch to the paradigm.
Thanks.
There we go.
Keep the enemy off balance.
Then we can go back to this. Is she in a curse? No, okay, so once she gets slow to stick there, then she'll start casting curse there, hopefully. That's really all I need. I don't need shell from these guys. So let's do smart bomb. Oh, and it's got curse. I don't know why I did that. Just the fact that she got curse to stick. If I seem a bit distracted today, it's because my brain is in 6 other places and I'm a little bit low on sleep. Not as bad as I was yesterday, but
Change of plan.
when you go to bed at like 2 in the morning and don't get to sleep until 5 and then have to be up for work at 9:30, it's not fun. I need to time this differently because there's no way that's going to stay up in the air the way it is right now. There we go. That'll be closer to what I want. That's just not perfect. One thing I don't like about the way that the ATB gauge works is that because Hope doesn't have his Eidolon yet, well, Hope and Fang, neither one of them have their 4th segment. So their time to charge the ATB gauge is pretty close to the same, although it's still not exact because of because the commando role gets some of those extra charge abilities if there's like a Ravager present or whatever. And the Ravager gets them if they're staggered, I think. But Lightning has her 4th segment, so it's a little bit of a pain because it's hard to juggle things that way. You have to be very careful about the way that you put things in, especially if you're not controlling the person with 4 chunks to the gauge segments. Because if I didn't have Lightning, if I controlled Hope or Fang at this point, it would be a lot harder for me to predict, where I needed to put my character to. Seriously?
Change of plan.
Fang's not allowed to die. Thank you. These guys have a high damage potential output. Like, you get the Orion, or I guess it's Viking now, on top of these Dragoons, and like the Dragoons do enough damage on their own, but man, it gets nasty. Back to Gorilla, so we want to get Barfire on. So I'll take out this other Dragoon before we can worry about the Viking. Alright, there we go. Then we can switch to Relentless Assault. Take down the Viking.
Target's a target.
And then we have to debuff the Viking all over again. Anyway, I was talking about the ATB gauge segment differences. So having not being able to control Lightning right now, I would have had a person that 2 people that I can't control charging at different rates. So it makes it a whole lot harder to coordinate juggling. Whereas with this, I've got 2 people that charge at the same rate, and then I can just hold off my attacks with Lightning until I need it to attack there. to keep it in the air more predictably. On the other hand, the other problem is if you have Hope and Fang set up so that they're like directly opposite each other, then you have like this little period in between each of their like ATB bar depletions that would be at just the wrong time for you to ever really get anything off with lightning, because you'd have to do like 2 attacks and then like 2 attacks in between, and it would just, the charge rate never works that way. Although now that we have the Whistlewind Scarf, that helps substantially as well to control where she falls in the order. But alright, now this is why we needed to put in the strategic warfare paradigm, because this is not a fun fight. You've got 2 enemies that are capable of like AoE, big magic attacks, and then you've got 2 that are capable of, or 3 that are capable of doing those electro kicks. I think it's in this one. I think they're arrow kicks with these, but and they will all charge at about the same time. It just gets bad. Because like no matter what Hope buffs first, something is gonna be off. If he buffs like he did here, if he buffs Protect and Bar Thunder first, then the Cyclone attacks are gonna kill you. If he did it the other way, then if he did Protect and Shell first, then the electrical attacks would kill you. So it just is horrible no matter what you do. But once you get all of your debuffs or buffs on, you can kind of go all out for a little bit, and especially since you had Fang tanking the majority of the damage to start, so it's a little bit safer. Especially if you toss a potion in there somewhere, and you're not in the air when you're trying to toss a potion.
Thanks.
There we go. Because they're not strong enemies. You can take them down quickly, but you have to have, a little bit of a buffer in order to have the chance to do it. If you have not played this game before and you're playing it through, and if you're doing one of those like what Let's Plays are actually designed to do, and you play it along with me, and you get to this section, try doing it some other way. See if you come up with a better method. But I've tried everything I can think of in these kinds of fights, and this is the best and most reliably easy way to do it. I mean, yeah, you could try to do it, be a little more aggressive and go all out Rambo on it. Why am I still in medic? I didn't notice that I still had Hope as a medic. Anyway, you can go all out on it and see how you do, but I think you're going to find that this is the most reliably simple way to do things. Also, I went straight from strategic warfare to relentless assault once my buffs were in place. If you're not as confident with your ability to jump into healing as needed, then you can also do go into Delta attack. That's why that paradigm is still in this deck. If you're not comfortable with the way that things are progressing, instead of going directly to relentless assault and kill a couple of things that way. That way, Fang is still taking the majority of your damage from the non-area effects anyway. So the problem is you either have to take out a bunch of these drones so that Fang doesn't get overwhelmed, or you have to take out the this one isn't so bad because there's only one Vespid casting Aroga and Cyclone. But in this case, I definitely want Fang to keep being the Sentinel, because otherwise those electro kicks would have, I guess they're arrow kicks or whatever they're calling them on this one. Tornado kick, maybe? Tornado kick. Which apparently does electric elemental damage anyway, which is really strange. But otherwise, that would have taken her out in that sequence of all of them doing it simultaneously. Because chances are, when you switch, they'll still have provoke for like a round or two, and they'll just keep attacking Fang anyway. Which, if she's not Sentinel, that's gonna kill her. So I usually would switch to Delta attack there for sure until they finish their next round of tornado kicks. By the way, the other reason the Sentinels are occasionally nice is that Aroga attack that kicks us up into the air. As long as you have a Sentinel on the squad currently, those won't throw you in the air. So that's a little byproduct of Sentinels that they don't advertise. They just expect you to notice somewhere. So you can go ahead and do these watch drones, but they're not guarding anything. And again, it's like all of the other massive like watch drone battles that it's not really worth doing. It's not like you get a lot of CP for it. Actually, you could have skipped the one that I just did too. If I had been thinking about it, you could just run up this ramp and completely bypass them. I wasn't even thinking about that. But now we can switch back to. We've just got a couple of dragoons here. These are trivially easy with debuffs in place, which they stick a lot better on these than they do with the Vikings. So, and Fang will actually bother to do them when the Viking's not on the field. So. Thank you. Still hate it when they team up on one party member, though. And having curse on them doesn't hurt, but when it's this small of a battle, slow is really all that you really need, so that they're not using missile burst every 3 seconds.
That's how it's done.
These are much easier than when they have Vespids involved, because all you really need is Protect. I don't know why he's been casting. Oh, I guess their tornado kicks are considered lightning based. That's really weird. I love it. I love that little evade move that Sentinels occasionally manage to pull off. once we have access to lightning as a sentinel, she is actually going to become my primary sentinel, unless I actually need like wide range damage protection, because of the fact that all of her sentinel skills, instead of basing around guarding like Snow and, well, actually basically the entire rest of the party, hers are based on. That was bad timing. I probably did that stupidly wrong, but yeah, Fang might die, but who cares? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's fine. Let's finish this one off, and then I'll revive her. I wasn't thinking there. I did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do in the last battle. So that's fine. And of course they all immediately gang up on Fang. But anyway, the reason I love Lightning as a Sentinel so much is because hers are all based upon evasion. She gets the elude ability, which boosts her evasion, and her and instead of guarding, she doesn't get any of the guard skills, Mediguard, Steel Guard, Vendetta, any of those. Hers are completely based around mobility and just evading everything, and then you can just sit back when enemies like this try to attack her and just laugh your head off because they're just sitting here like miss, and it makes a lot of late story game battles that are supposed to be really tough physical encounters just kick a pair of nibble-toe boots on her, and she becomes unhittable. Of course, magic still hits her, which is annoying, but that's why you have to pick those battles carefully. But for as much as I'm going to use a Sentinel late story, she's going to be the primary one. I need something here. So this is another toss-up fight that you like. How do you want to handle this? You've got 3 deck drones that are gonna do like massive amounts of damage in one round when all 3 of them have their tornado kicks up. But you also have this giant like damage-dealing machine that does like fire-based physical attacks like every turn. So unfortunately, you can't really control which way your synergist buffs. I didn't want that. I wanted Delta attack. Right, she's not even guarding when they hit her. Okay, that worked alright. Anyway. But like first off, you can't, if you start in Saboteur, then they're definitely gonna get off like 3 tornado kicks. Somebody's probably gonna die unless you happen to time it perfectly, because the problem is that the provoke skill that she has right now is wide area, which means it's automatically got a lower hit rate. So if she doesn't manage to stick that the first like turn or 2, then you have a problem, because if you wait to switch to Saboteur right before they're going to use the attack, she probably won't be guarding, and that means that first off, she's probably already going to be weakened by spending time in Saboteur and getting hit by countless number of attacks. And she's gonna be, and then she's not gonna be actually guarding actively at that point. So, so that's one possible strategy that doesn't really work. The other one is to try to take out the Viking, it's not Viking anymore. It's whatever this thing is. Is it Viking now? Whatever this one is. Yeah, it's Viking. Take out the Viking as quickly as possible so that it doesn't.
As if there was any doubt.
And so that it doesn't keep adding the constant attacks. But in order to do that, you are still basically going to need a sentinel in place, because otherwise you're just going to die. Or you're going to have at least a synergist, but then you're pretty much going to have to set up your paradigms differently so that Lightning can heal. And she's not very good at it. She doesn't even have Cura at this point. She can't heal everybody at once. So that almost doesn't work. And again, with the Sentinel thing, you're not going to do enough damage before the Watch Drones get off their tornado kicks anyway. So it's not going to actually serve any good purpose to focus on, doing damage to that. It'll probably still get its... it's not Spark Strike anymore. It's like Flame Strike or something like that. Whatever its big, the big power-up attack that it does is. Wait. Yeah. Kill these, and then there's the Dragoons beyond it. Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
Keep your mind on the battle.
Just want to make sure I had the right ones. So really, you're best off just doing exactly what we did, which is to... Cool. Thanks, Dad. Brutes. It wouldn't hurt you to have the Saboteur in this fight either, but chances are you're not going to be able to set up in time anyway, so for it to be really useful. Because these Dragoons are just too fast.
Keep the enemy off balance.
That's not what I want. I forgot that I switched those again. So anyway, yeah, this whole area is a giant challenge in figuring out the best strategy because it'd be so much easier if you had Vanille, because then you could use Vanille and Fang as Saboteurs. And then use somebody like Saz or something with a decent amount of HP and some utility as your leader. And then switch Vanille over to your primary healer whenever she isn't buffing anymore, or as needed, and you still have the capability of the entire party to do decent damage simultaneously. Very soon we'll have that option.
getting started.
Point of doing that was to get this. There it is. Probably don't actually even need that, to tell the truth. Let's just use Smart Bomb, because these stagger easily. It's a bit of a risk. Oh wait, there's 4 of them? I think there were only 2. Yeah, no, that was a bad man. At least with these, all we need is effect on them, or on us. So one potential strategy with these, this particular type of enemy, is to stay in like Smart Bomb until it's staggered, and then use Relentless Assault, regardless of what Fang. And that's kind of what I've been doing, but. Regardless of what Fang has on everybody else. Partially because the damage potential is just so high that you want to take them out as quickly as possible. So basically you just alternate between Smart Bomb and Relentless Assault, throwing in Diversity when you actually need healing, until each individual one is taken out. Because really the debuffs are useful, but they stagger so easily, and once they stagger, they're easy to kill. So it's not a bad idea to do it that way. Of course, you could always use the same approach with the Sentinels that we have for a lot of the other like annoying high quick damage capacity fights. But all right. Through this set of boss battles, and then that's gonna be it, unfortunately. You need that. You need that. Get that. Because we're not using the Whistlewind Scarf here, I'm going to switch it up a little bit, because this allows me to use the Raise ability that I already picked up for Lightning, as well as the low HP Power Surge a little bit more efficiently, or the Raise more efficiently, and low HP Power Surge for the extra power when she's low on health, which of course means that if she's going to use Raise, we're going to need to put Paradigms in for her to do to be a medic. And she is actually going to be, well, I was going to say she's going to be my primary medic, and actually she is for part of the battle, going to be the primary medic for part of this battle. And the other reason I do that is because that way I can have, you can see that Fang is basically commandoed the entire set of Paradigms. She's just Saboteur for a few seconds, and then that. thought I was missing something. I hadn't gotten her roll level yet. Alright, Commando or Sentinel here. Don't need Renew right away. Don't really need anything right away, to tell the truth. Alright, so there's 2 rolls finished for Snow. Or at least for this tier anyway. I got the equipment. Okay, there's no safe room here. Wait, what? Hang on, backtrack. What did I do here? Oh, well, fine. I want to try to avoid this battle, just because I'm already set up for the... There we go. Not like it's a tough battle after everything else we've done. 2 Dragoons is pretty trivial, but I want to get through these boss battles before we end the episode, which means we're going to go over a little bit, but I think you'll see that it's well worth it.
How do you figure this makes us lucky? Because when we kill it, we're 1 step closer to Vanille. How's that?
Well, when you put it that way.
Alright, so Libra. So that lets us know that it's susceptible to both slow and curse. It doesn't tell us the other important information quite yet, but also I should have started in that paradigm. Should have been in Gorilla to start with. So that you can get slow and curse on him. Alright. We haven't even gotten to the other important information, so that this is another one of those rare flying monsters in this game. I say that because not that there aren't a lot of flying enemies, but because you can't actually reach it by physical attacks. Doing its job. Wait, that should have been Scourge. What? Oh, Scourge is the upgrade to Ravage. What's the upgrade for Smite? Yeah, doesn't matter, we won't get it right away anyway. I've always wondered if that's the same monster or if it's a second one.
Bad stroke of luck after another. I'm so happy I could cry.
Tease us, will ya?
Come down here!
I told you it'd be worth it.
Vanille!
We finally have our entire party!
There you are.
Ah, miss me? You, the monster! Where?
So we didn't even get to discover in the previous round of this that that it uses lightning attacks. Now it's going to tell us automatically because we already had it Libra. But so now Hope will know to use.
Keep the enemy off balance.
Hope will know to use Bar Thunder. And on top of our spark rings, that's gonna basically make this fight easy as pie. And it still does a large amount of damage, but not horribly so. See, and that's why I throw lightning in as a medic, so that we can do that. Of course, the other option there was to use I should have switched to Hero's Charge instead, but I wanted to heal quickly so that I can go back to debuffing because I was trying to beat that Hellstorm Bolt attack. And now we're good to go, so we can do Relentless Assault. So now we can basically focus on Relentless Assault and healing up with Diversity. Unless we see that Hellstorm Bolt catching again, then we'll go to Tireless Charge to do to have two. I don't want to waste my stagger period though. So that with Tireless Charge, we'll have the two people healing up quickly rather than. Discretion, that's what I was looking at. Tireless Charge is something else. I think Tireless Charge is. No, that's Hero's Charge. I think Tireless Charge might be med and two comms instead of two meds and a comm.
Time for another approach.
Oh, you know what? I should switch back to healer just long enough to get slow and first to stick again. Save myself a little energy. Doesn't necessarily save me any time because now Hope's just going to waste time casting buffs, but that I don't need anymore. But he does have boons, so that will extend the ones that have already been on there. And then I can just switch back to heal. I don't need to heal for that. Unless it all hits bang. Of course it all hit bang. Whatever. Still good. There we go.
Vanille! Bang!
And actually, we are to the grinding portion after this fight, so what I will probably do is grind off camera without showing you the area, and then the last circuit that I do, I'll show you the area and fight everything so you have strategies for all of them.
Time.
And so you can see all the chests.
There's something I need to tell you. Making me worry like that. We'll talk later, Missy.
What's wrong?
Huh? Oh, nothing. Nothing. What's on the agenda?
Toppling the sanctum?
No, I mean really.
He's serious. We're gonna take down the Sanctum and give Cocoon back to the people. The Fal'Cie have called the shots for long enough.
If we pull this off, it'll be a miracle.
Well, good thing Lady Luck's on our side.
You had to say it.
More of them?
You know, this is getting really old.
Check this out. A miracle. Grand Pulse style. Vanille, go fish.
Got it!
This is kind of cool though, gotta say.
girl.
Now, why couldn't she have just done that with the last boss?
Let's get on!
Believe in Lady Luck now?
Yeah. Lady Bad Luck. Time to purge a Primarch.
You got it. Yeah!
How would they know to fire at that? Like, unless somebody was looking out the window and saw Fang take it down. Like, and I'm pretty sure we just killed anybody that could have done that.
I also believe that if we stuck together, somehow we could change our fate.
Actually, there's a very simple answer to that, and those of you who have played this game know exactly what it is. But for the sake of not ruining the surprise, I'm going to pretend I don't know.
Daisley's through there.
We're still gonna have our talk. So let's survive this first, yeah?
Right.
Alright. So that's going to be the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. This is one of my favorite sections of the game. Just because you start getting some decent gear, you get your whole party, you start formulating strategies for the rest of the game, and that's really what the next chapter is primarily going to be about, is figuring out how your team works. So we will get to that. During next episode. We won't probably get very far into the chapter, but we'll get there, and there's going to be a lot of plot stuff at the beginning of next chapter. So I'm going to do a little bit of grinding off stream in this area, and then we'll come back and I'll do one sweep around this area so you see everything and where the treasures are, and then we'll go forward and finish this chapter. Thank you for watching. I apologize for going over. I hope you agree that it was worth the extra 10 minutes. Everybody have a great day. Be sure to like and share and subscribe if you haven't already. So I'll see you guys next time.